Hello, I'm Dana Trump. I'm with the Land Pride Service Department. Today we're going to show you an install on a third function valve kit. These valve kits here that we're coming out with are pre-assembled. Very important that we put all the pieces together we can possibly so that your install time is reduced dramatically. So this kit here is a 380-354A. It's got a flat face tips in it. This will fit the B2301, the B2601, and these are both compatible with the LA435 loader and also the LA434 loader. This tractor we happen to have behind me is a B2601. We got this for the video shoot. This tractor actually has a valve installed on it already. So we did take a few pieces off so we can actually show you the installation part of some pieces that you need to know for sure. So we will continue to unbox this next and show you our pre-assembled kit. Okay, our pre-assembled kits come pre-packed in foam. In the box you will find, here's your hoses that go down loader arms. This will hook up third function valve. This goes on the torque tube of the loader. On this kit here, you notice the tips are gone here. We about need to do that so that way ease your installation. You can actually get to this nut here on this U-bolt and tighten it up easily, and then you'll put the tips on. We'll show you that later. Within the box, you've also got your handle. You've got a hardware bag of the parts you need, zip ties, the fittings that go out here in the end of the bulkhead. You got your manual. You've also got your pre-assembled third function valve. You notice all the pieces are on here. These 45s are already clocked and tightened and torqued to spec. It's all on there. So up next, we're going to show you how to put this thing on. Here's the pre-assembled valve that goes on the tractor. Like I said before, everything's clocked, ready to go. You've got two bolt holes. Use the bottom one and the slotted one. As you can tell, they go here on the loader arm mount. These bolts are in the hardware bag, of course. Put these on. This valve is also hardwired. You will need to have a little extra 12-volt wire, some butt connectors, and some stuff like that. We'll show you the electrical toward the end of the video. Okay, now that the valve's on the tractor, the hoses are laid under the tractor because again, they're attached to the valve. We need to get to the pressure and return ports of the tractor. So to do that, we're going to take off the right tire in the rear. We're going to jack it up, put a jack stand under it, make sure the brakes are locked, be safe. Next thing we're going to do is we've got to take the seat off. We got 2 bolts in the front, 2 bolts in the back. Now if you noticed, this tractor happens to have an optional backhoe for it. So spoiler alert, when we get done shooting how to hook up the tractor, then we're going to show you what additional steps you need to do to hook in series with a backhoe. Okay, as I explained earlier, this has got the backhoe option on it. It also has the seat for the backhoe. It raises up, spins around. Lock it in position like this is what your rig looks like. You can get to all 4 bolts, get them out. Make sure to undo a seat wiring. Push down on that little clip. If you hold your face right, it'll come right out. Okay, now that the seat is removed, we have got a mount in here underneath the seat. There is a bolt on each side on the fenders. You're gonna take them 2 bolts out. This mount will come out. There's wiring hooked to it, so be gentle with it. You can actually turn it and lay it over to the side so you can get access to the return port on the tractor. Now you can get to this tube that stops up here at the top of the return on the transmission. You follow the tube down on the side of the tractor on the loader valve, and you will find this solid piece of tube must be removed. The Power Beyond is the one on the side of the transmission, loader valve, if you will. The top of it is the return port. Make sure you don't get these two confused. At this time, we're going to remove that steel tube and the banjo bolts, and then we have access to get our pressure and return lines hooked up. Okay, again with the tube removed, you're going to find fittings. This fitting here, the banjo bolt, goes in the return on top of the transmission. This fitting here goes in the Power Beyond port. You're going to install this fitting, and then you're going to install the elbow that goes on there. Do not tighten this. We want to get the hose hooked up to it first, get it situated where we want it, and then we will tighten the elbow. If you got this backhoe frame, put your 90 degree on the hose, and it's easier to start the 90 degree onto that fitting at the Power Beyond port. Up next, we're going to take and hook up the return line to the top of the transmission. I got that installed, but it is not tight, so we can swivel it where we need to before we tighten everything down. And at that time, we're going to come in here and zip tie up the hoses, make sure they're all in place, and that will also finish out our clocking that needs to be done to get everything comfortable. That's right now is a good time to start the tractor at an idle. Check and make sure you don't have any leaks. If you don't, it's time to put the seat back on, hook up your wire, put your tire back on the tractor, because now we're going to work on the hoses going down the loader arms. This bulkhead mount is going to mount to the torque tube of the loader, and we'll run them continuously on back, and they will plug into your third function valve. The tips are not installed on this from us. I'll show you why in a little bit. We got the hoses run down the loader arms. What I did is I started at the front. We got a hose for the tilt cylinder that's right in the way of these hoses. What I did is I run a hose down on the right side and one on the left. I split them. Continued on up. I got a hose clamp, a zip tie here on the fitting on this lift cylinder. Make your loop, plug in your third function valve. The reason this is pre-assembled kit does not have the tips on it is because you don't have enough room with this particular bracket to get a socket in there to tighten up the 9/16 nuts on the U-bolt. Next, we're going to put the couplers on. Okay, got the tips put on. The next step is going to be putting on the electrical. On the loader lever, the knob that you got on your tractor, if you twist it and pull up real hard, that knob will come off. And then you'll install our other knob. I want to show you how the electrical runs on this unit. When I get done with that, I'll show you how it needs to be wired out on the bench where you can actually see it clearly because it's pretty tight spaces back here. Put this handle on, orient this handle in the position you like to run it. Run the wires down the loader lever. It runs down behind the loader valve. From there, we pick it back up and run along with them hoses, your Power Beyond and your return lines. We run it up here, tee it off. That wire's got to come up here and hook onto the wire out of your third function valve. Here's the wires off the handle. Your two blacks and your two reds, one black paired and the one red go to one switch. Here's the wires off your third function valve. You got a black and a white. You're going to take one black and put it to the black, and the other one, black, you're going to put to the white. These two red wires here are your power wires. You're going to hook these two together and add a longer wire, put a good connection on it, and run to your power source. At the power source, you want to also put in your fuse holder. Okay, now that the wires are hooked up, everything is zip tied in place to keep them safe from harm. At this point, if your tractor doesn't have a backhoe, you're ready to start the tractor up, check for more leaks, make sure that everything works properly, operate your loader, your 3-point and all that. If something acts funny, the first thing to look at is your pressure return lines. Most likely you have them backwards. That can be catastrophic to the valve very quickly, so do that at an idle. Next up, if you're adding a backhoe to this particular tractor model, we're going to show you what kit you need to make that work. Okay, for the ones that are adding a backhoe to a Lampride third function valve, we do have an optional kit for that. It's a 380-500A as an Apple. This kit includes hardware and this steel tube. It also includes a shorter hose. This shorter hose is going to go on the return side of the third function valve, and you're going to pull it off. You're not going to install it up on top of the tractor transmission like we showed earlier. This return line is going to hook up to this line here on the subframe of the hoe. We'll show you how that goes on. To get that job done, we'll have to remove the right tire again and also the seat. This hose here is going to replace the return line off the third function valve. I'm going to unhook this line here. We'll unhook it from the top of the transmission. And then we will take and hook up this line and run it over to our pipe, and it's going to go on the outside of the subframe just like that. Now, with that being said, with your backhoe, you get steel lines. This one here is actually designed for a tractor with an auto third function valve on it. It comes with the hoe. We can't use it. However, you're going to need the dust cap and the tip. Go ahead and put it on this standpipe here with some tape. Before you install this, you have a little bit more knuckle room that way. I'll show you the install here directly. Got the hose on, the short hose on, the return side of the third function valve is where this last hose goes on. It runs up here and hooks into this stand tube that's in that kit. Now that a return line from the third function valve is going to be the pressure line for the backhoe, this stuff comes with the backhoe. There's going to be your standpipe for returning the tank. You're going to take and hook this hose on to this piece, and this thing, coupler will come around and hook up to here. This was what makes your loop for your backhoe. This way your oil is going a constant flow one direction, running in series. Once you get these installed, you can fire the tractor up and see if you have any leaks. This makes your hose loop for your hoe. So at this point, it's time to put your tire back on and your seat back in. If you got any questions, consult your operator's manuals. See your local Land Pride dealer. I'm Dana Trump. Thank you for watching.